Hear ye, here comes the judge. It is Judge Dawson, and I am here for my wonderful day, wonderful podcast, wonderful time with you. Here Comes the Judge is the name of the show, and this is where I bring you information pertaining to law, life, love, and everything in between. If you've been listening before, you know that I don't take up a whole lot of your time, but I do want to introduce you to this new introduction music. Hey, I created this myself. It's called Down the Runway. Yeah, if you didn't know, I used to be a musician before I became a judge, so toying around with that again, just exploring all the possibilities of life, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take a few minutes of your time to talk to you about something that's very, very important. At least it's important to me. The other day, I heard a story, and then I was led to a video documentary on a rap group. Matter of fact, a super rap group from the 90s called the Wu-Tang Crew. Yes, the Wu-Tang Crew. And Wu-Tang, they basically styled their image off of some old martial arts movies and maybe even some of the Buddhism theories and things like that. But they were very popular in the rap community. In fact, not only were they popular, they were very successful. They sold millions and millions of records. They had a couple of albums and they both went multi-platinum. But even more important and even more impressive is that all the members of their group were able to record solo projects. And those solo projects did pretty well. So it was a really new phenomenon for the rap industry and music in general when you speak about that type of success. And then there was one member in particular who stood out more than the others, and his name was Ol' Dirty Bastard. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Ol' Dirty Bastard. And the reason he stood out because he was the wild card. He was the one who could not be controlled. He was a pretty heavy partier. He enjoyed drinking. He enjoyed women, sex, drugs, all of it. And he would let you know right off the bat that he couldn't be controlled. And actually, I'm going to tell you the truth. Some of his lyrics, you couldn't even understand them. He was so wild. But, you know, for what it's worth, he was a very popular and successful rap artist. Now, in the midst of living that uncontrolled persona, he also was pretty wild. And when you are wild, sometimes you do things to break the law. And in fact, he ended up having multiple situations and run-ins with the law where he had, a bulletproof vest when that's illegal in New York, multiple drug possession charges and things like that. And then ultimately, he ended up going to jail. And I'll tell you, from a legal standpoint, we have this phrase about people who are throwing rocks at the jail. Throwing rocks at the jail. And what that basically means is you are behaving in such a way that you're basically asking someone to send you to jail, whether it's a police prosecutor or ultimately a judge. So in Ol' Dirty Bastard's situation, he ended up with a case. And that particular judge ended up sentencing him to time. Matter of fact, I think he did 3 years in a maximum security facility. Now, part of that time he was in a mental hospital and things like that. But while he was in maximum security, the stories are that he was really abused. He was taken advantage of. He was even beat up by correction officers. And we know how that goes, and we know that shouldn't happen. But when I rewind it and I think of finishing first and think of being a cycle breaker and what my mission as a judge is, which is to save lives and to keep people from falling and derailing their futures, I have to go back to the term of throwing rocks at a jail. Because the bottom line is oftentimes it's our behavior, the way we conduct ourselves in the community that will cause us to be arrested. And when you go back to Ol' Dirty Bastard's situation, if you hear the interview and you see what his family members were saying, they said, that judge was wrong. He shouldn't have sent him to a maximum security jail. He should have gave him a second chance. Maybe he should have had probation or even a drug program. And all of that might be right. But when you throw rocks at a jail, you don't know which window you're going to break. You don't know which judge you're going to pull. And you don't know whether or not that judge has any care or compassion for your life. So the best way to make sure that you don't get in trouble or end up in a jail is to not throw rocks at the jail. And that means to monitor your behavior right now while you have your freedom. And it's not just jail. It's losing any of your freedoms, any of your liberties, a relationship, a job, an opportunity. Don't conduct yourself in a way that will blow that opportunity, that will blow that job or destroy that relationship. Don't throw rocks at the jail and then ask the judge not to give you a sentence. Now, as I wind this down, my message is simply this. We all are moving in a direction, and that direction has a destination. And we need to be sure that we are aware of where the destination is going to be. Because if you're throwing rocks at the jail, at one point you may wind up in jail. So what I suggest for you, my word for today, is let's try to live backwards. Identify the destination that you want to arrive at and then begin to live in a way that'll make sure that you will make it there. And that way you'll get to your destination and it won't be one that you don't expect. And it won't be one where you're asking someone else to have compassion on you, because you will have lived in a way so that you've reached your goals. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my message for today. As you know, I don't hold you long. I just want to be of service and of value to you. So hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast. And I'll tell you, even if you don't think you've gotten anything from it, pass it on to somebody else. You may help change that person's life. So subscribe to the podcast. Be on the lookout for the updates. Enjoy my new intro music. And most importantly, be a cycle breaker, living each day so that you reach your ultimate destination, which is success. And until we meet again, like we always do, we are going to say namaste. Take care, everybody. It's Judge Dawson.